Hello and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Morgan. So today, if my calculations are correct, this video is going up just before the last day of the year. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about 2020 and my hopes for 2021. This is not going to be like a New Year's resolution video because I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I think that I think that they're a really weird part of tradition that ultimately ends in failure most of the time and just makes people feel like shit. And I am not about that life. I haven't made a New Year's resolution, or at least an official New Year's resolution, since I was like 13, and I don't intend to start now. So 2020, this year it's been a year. It's been a year that has felt like a century. And it's really weird thinking back on events that happened just months ago and having my brain entirely convinced they happened years ago. But we've had this whole pandemic thing. We've had a nightmare election here in the United States that has left myself and people that I know genuinely afraid for what's to come in January 20th. And I don't want to sensationalize that at all because I don't think my worst fears are going to happen, but I'm prepared just in case. So this pandemic thing has been hard on everyone. I've had to adjust to an entirely online school format, which is really weird when you're in your last when you're in your last quarters of a degree that requires a very high amount of lab classes, and I can't get those lab and field experiences that I was hoping to get. And that's been really frustrating and really hard for me. I've experienced the horror that is the proctoring system of Proctoru. And if you are a professor that uses Proctoru, please freaking stop. It's invasive and it's overly stressful for no reason. Proctoru sucks, and I hate that professors use it. I hate that my school allows professors to use it. And that's not coming from me as someone who wants to cheat. That's coming from me as someone who's usually doesn't experience a whole lot of anxiety around exams, almost in tears during exams this past quarter because of Proctoru. So take that with what you will. But it's been a weird year. I've seen so much hatred and vitriol in my own social media feeds that it really makes me sad because they're coming from people that I wouldn't have necessarily expected it to come from. Now, I have, for the most part, unfriended and blocked a lot of those people because I didn't need that negativity in my life. And while it may seem like I'm trying to put myself in my own little safe space, doing something to help your own mental health is not wanting a safe space. It's just cutting out toxicity, and that's not a bad thing. There is a way to have differing views and opinions without being toxic to one another, and the people that I have decided to unfollow and block were not being non-toxic. They were being very toxic, and I cannot support that, and I cannot see that on a daily basis because it's just not good for anybody. I mean, 2020 was weird enough in the fact that I adopted a horse. And it's like, I've had horses before. Obviously, I grew up with them, but this is the first horse that I've actually chosen and made the decision to bring home myself. And then within a couple of days, really, I ended up having ducks. I didn't go out to get ducks. Just the universe was like, and now you have ducks. For that story, there's a vlog from a few months ago when we built their enclosure where I talk about the actual story. And I am getting so close to finishing my degree. I have 2 more quarters. I could technically apply for graduation next quarter, but I have chosen not to just because there's a few classes in the spring that I really want to take and I have some wiggle room. I'm struggling with different academic decisions, especially since I know now that if I have another class that has to take Proctoru, I will drop that class. That's how much I hated Proctoru. I cannot do another class with it. And if you peruse the r/UCR subreddit, so I go to UC Riverside, there are professors in a bunch of different departments just mass accusing students of cheating, and in some cases on these open note, open book exams. And their evidence is that the exam average was too high. And so I'm terrified for the next 2 quarters what's going to happen, and if they're going to say that professors have to use programs like Proctoru, because if that's the case, I'm for sure going to apply for graduation early, because I'm not going to sit through my last 2 quarters being miserable because of Proctoru. I can't do that to myself. But looking forward in 2021, there are a few things that I'm genuinely looking forward to. I'm looking forward to finally graduating, finally never having to go to UCR ever again, because this is not the university experience I wanted, and that has nothing to do with the online format. That has everything to do with I don't particularly like the school I go to, and the environment is kind of toxic to students, especially to transfer students. We kind of get the feel that they don't want us here, and that's all I'm really going to say on that right now while they still control my education. But at the end, my partner and I are planning a camping trip that will take us to several national parks that will be really fun, and I am looking forward to, because it's all going to be 2 places I've never been before, and that's going to be exciting, and we will definitely, we'll hear more about that later when the trip actually happens. I'm not going to post an official itinerary or anything till after the trip for safety reasons, but so that's something to look forward to. Of course, that is entirely dependent on where we are with how safe travel is, but I don't graduate till summer, so I'm less worried about it being canceled than I was a little while ago, especially in light of the vaccine. But who knows what's going to happen in the next few weeks and what tomfoolery we're going to see happen. On January 20th, I am looking forward to the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. While Joe Biden would not have been my desired candidate, I am so glad that Trump has lost the election more than once at this point, because he keeps deciding to challenge it and lose it, and that makes my heart a little happy, because he is basically one of the most disgusting human beings I have ever heard of. And I look forward to hopefully a nation that's going to start taking climate change and environmental protection seriously, especially since Biden has already promised us that his first day in office, he's going to re-add us to the Paris Agreement, which is something we never should have been removed from to begin with. Because everything that Trump said in support of being removed from it was an effing lie. Like, but I'm not going to get into that now. I'm just glad that we're going to rejoin it and start taking climate and the environment seriously again, because we need to. Those are things that affect the whole world, but it seems like for some reason people in America think that if it doesn't only affect America, it doesn't matter, and that's just a load of bullshit. But I digress there. And I'm glad that we are no longer in danger of completing our removal from the World Health Organization, because that's just another travesty cooked up by Trump. I'm more hopeful for the future in general. I don't necessarily want to dwell on the negatives that I'm afraid of for the next few weeks, because I'm hoping they don't come to pass. But I do think that 2021 is hopefully going to start getting better, and we're going to start not living in the dark timeline, because it has been horrifying seeing my country kind of revert back to the science-denying dark ages, and I don't like that. I'm not about that. But that is what it is. I mean, there are also, like, personal goals I hope to achieve in 2021 that aren't really resolutions because they're things that I've been hoping for anyway. But yeah, so 2020 is coming to an end, and just, I'm so freaking glad that it is. And even in the next few couple of days and weeks, we're gonna see good things start happening. And I do hope that this means that that's going to create a positive trend. So join me in saying F you 2020, and hopefully 2021 is not gonna be as much of a fucking dumpster fire. Happy New Year, guys.
Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.